I wore this makeup for a full 15 hours through the heat, through the hugs, through the hallelujahs and all of that. Today, I'm showing you my transfer proof 15-hour Sunday church makeup routine. And at the end of the video, I will show you exactly how it looked. Sis, let's be honest, Sunday service is not the time for your makeup to be melting during praise and worship or staining people's clothes whilst you're hugging them. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so we started this makeup routine by a few minutes past 5 in the morning. This next part is totally optional, but if you're a pretty lady that has full brows and you often struggle with knowing how to draw your brows, or you want to reduce the amount of time you spend in drawing your brows and ensuring that your brows look amazing, then you can try trimming them. And when I say trim, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to shave everything off, because I'm not even a fan of that. All you have to do is to reduce the width a little bit, and if you've gotten your brows professionally done before, it's easier for you, because all you have to do, like what I'm doing right now, is to take out the new growth in the unwanted areas. After cleaning up the hair fallouts by rinsing my face and dabbing it with a paper towel, I go in with my serum. This is a serum that suits my skin type. It's the Omarico Moisture Serum. You would have to get one that suits your skin. So the next step we have now is applying our moisturizer, and this from the same brand, Omari Code Beauty, and this is the Omari Code Moisture Maximizer Moisturizer. I love this moisturizer so much, and I've spoken about it more than 5 times on this actual channel. So if you're living in Lagos, Nigeria, or you're living in Nigeria basically, and you're looking for that perfect moisturizer for your makeup, for your full glam, for your soft glam, you want to lay your hands on this actual products. So now we're onto our brows, using a little gel on the brows to get them looking laminated. This makes the drawing of the brows easier, because then you can see the areas where you have little hairs that you need to fill in either with your pencil or with your brow pomade. But in this video, I'll be using my Davis eye pencil. I dare say that this is the most popular eye pencil brand in Nigeria, and it's very affordable as well. Ensure that it is sharpened. The cover of the pencil comes with a sharpener, so you do not have to go out of your way looking for one. As you can see, I'm basically just outlining my brows to define the line and then filling the areas where I don't have so much brow hair there. When it comes to getting your skin prep done, I want to say skin prep, I mean your serum, your moisturizer, your primer, all of those things, you want to ensure that you leave about 2 minutes for each of those things to marinate properly before you go in with the next step. This helps to just give the products more time to settle in and does not feel like you are clogging your skin pores. So right now my moisturizer must have settled in into my skin, and it's time to apply my primer. I'm using the Rimmel London Stay Matte Primer, because for a primer that's so affordable, it actually works really well for someone that stays in a very humid part of the world, which is Lagos, and it's perfect if you have an oily skin or a combination to oily skin. So if you're going for a long lasting matte look and you're not willing to break your pocket or break the bank, get your hands on this primer, and trust me, you will not regret it. And that's why I like it, is because it does not dry up my skin when I'm applying. Some other primers that I've tried to use that are like very affordable locally, it's either when I'm applying them, they leave my skin looking like I just applied powder, like very dry, and I don't like it, because then if it's too dry, then it just shows that it then gives your skin a signal that something is wrong somewhere, because your skin naturally produces oils, so you don't want to block it off totally. Do you understand? So I like that I let my skin stay feeling super hydrated and not clogged. So while we let the primer marinate, we're going to be using the Noble Beauty Concealer in the shade 043 alongside the flat brush to clean up my brows. You can use a concealer that's 1 to 2 shades lighter than your complexion for easier blending into your foundation. The aim of this step is to basically to clean up your brows. It's totally optional, but for a Sunday church worship, you want to ensure that your brows are clean as they should be. I like going light with the concealer application so that blending will be much more easier. And then I take whatever I have left on the brush to apply on my eyelid to act as a base for my eyeshadows. Then using my naked brush, I love this one and also the Real Techniques brush in 300. This kind of brushes are perfect for blending cream and powder eyeshadows and of course concealers due to their structure. So just blending it into my skin by using wiper motions, or can we use dabbing motions till everything looks seamless. And then I go ahead to use my Nuban Beauty Oil Control Setting Powder in the shade Caramel to set my eyes, where I apply the concealer to prevent creasing, making use of the Real Techniques brush in 402, which is perfect for applying setting powder. Now we can dive into eyeshadow, which is my favorite part of makeup any day, anytime. So I'm making use of the W7 Education palette today. I'm starting off with a neutral color that's close to my skin tone, that's also perfect for everyday makeup looks. So running this shade all over my lid because it serves as my base color. So these are the shades that I mixed to get that color. Just thought to show you because I didn't show you at the beginning. It's a very neutral, everyday, easy to work with shade, especially for my girls of color. And so last minute I decided to do a cut crease. So using the same concealer and the same flat brush to cut my crease. This part is totally optional. Like I did not even think I was going to do a cut crease today, but here we have it. There is this nude shade to place on the crease that we just cut to set it. So instead of using a setting powder after I cut my crease, I then use an actual eyeshadow to just set it in there. And the fact that we're applying an eyeshadow right on top of the concealer, it will make the eyeshadow color pop just a little bit more. A flat brush, a clean flat brush, is the best for this because it is designed to pack color. Then I use the initial brush I used earlier for the brown shade to blend everything together. Then going in with a gel eyeliner and a flat angled brush to draw my eyeliner. I start by placing the brush at the edge of my eyes and drawing up, following my natural eye shape and using my lower lash line of my eyes as a guide. Wanted to go for a small wing today, so after getting my desired length, I connected the line back to my upper lid and used the same liner and brush to further emphasize my eyes by running the liner through my lower lash line. This makes a whole lot of difference, but also ensure that it is drawn inside, or rather on your lash line and not underneath your lower lashes, because it then breaks the entire look. Then doing the same for the other eye and tidying up the eyeliner, checking the length, the width, and also ensuring that the direction of where your eyeliner is facing is similar. So I then noticed that the cut crease needed a little bit more blending, so I went in with this tiny precise brush and then blended that part where the concealer stops, so no one can actually tell where the concealer ended. So just like a very beautiful gradient look. I always tell people that the key to a very good makeup is blending. Once your blending game is untouchable, your makeup becomes unbeatable. So this way we have a very beautiful gradient eyeshadow look that we have right now, starting from a very bright and warm color to having like brown and neutral shades at the end of our eye. So I went into some shimmer shade. I always kind of struggle to select an actual shade when it comes to shimmers because they're actually all pretty, but this is what we are looking like so far. So applying the shimmer shade with a small flat brush just at that part of the eyes to further pop and open up my eyes a little bit more. So now that we're done with our eyes, we're going to apply the concealer first under my eyes. I did this first because it is the most realistic for me, because I'll need it to take its time to marinate before I get into blend, because the longer it stays on your face, the more coverage it can provide. So after doing that, I go in with the Nuban Beauty in my skin foundation. See, I have done 2 reviews on my channel on this actual product and they are not beating the allegations at all. They said in my skin, and skin is indeed what you will get with this foundation. To avoid excess foundation being applied on my face, I like using the flat brush to apply it first, then use a dense brush or a beauty blender or a sponge to blend it. When blending, I just press it into my skin. No dragging, no pulling, no moving, just dabbing and pressing it into my skin. And if you need a little bit more foundation after a while, you can easily go back and apply just the right amount that you need to cover up what you need to cover. And this way, you'll be saving yourself some coins by not wasting your foundation, because this is actually quite pricey. And then I took my Real Techniques beauty sponge to further eliminate excess foundation that might be there, or any streaks that might have been formed, before I apply my concealer on the rest of the areas where I need to apply, which is my chin, the center of my nose, and just above my lips. Still giving our concealer more time, I'm going to go in straight to our contour. I'm making use of a darker foundation from Zico, another amazing brand as well. Shout out to them. I'm using one of my Real Techniques brush in 200. This is the expert face brush that is perfect for that seamless contour. For the perfect application, I apply a little quantity on my pan and dab a little bit on my brush before going to my face. I have just enough on my brush, and should I need more, I'll just pump another on my pan and work my way up, instead of going directly with a huge amount on my face. And since it's contour, placement and quantity matters, because the purpose of having a contour is to restore dimension back to your face by restoring your natural shadows and therefore framing your face. So it's best to start with a light hand. So speaking of placement, we are placing this contour on our cheekbones, the perimeter of the forehead, and around the temples of your face. So once that is perfectly blended, I like to use whatever I have left on the brush to create my nose contour by following the path from the beginning of my eyebrows down to my nose. Going back to my naked brush, I use it to blend my concealers, same dabbing motion, and this is why you need a very good concealer, because you see how easy this was to blend. I went back to use the contour brush to restore that contour line before blending my under eye. And yes, you'll need to make this face, girl, especially if you're getting your makeup done by yourself. This is so because you need to stretch out the skin over there so that the concealer gets into that entire area, and then you don't have any section that does not have concealer, and then have a part where you have too much concealers. It's blush time, so going in with the Marigold Flush Fusion in Toasted Spice, then placing this above my cheekbones, just underneath where my wing liner starts, then dragging it towards my temple, then using the brush to blend it seamlessly into my skin. Then I went back to using my foundation brush to blend my face and get rid of some harsh lines that were formed. And this is what our cream base is looking like, and I'm so loving it. So before we go out to setting all of this with powder, I'm going to be going in with a setting spray. This is the Sopro Hydra Mist setting spray, and this helps to secure our base before we go in with our powder product. So after spraying our setting spray, I get some wipes to clean my lips, and then use this time, because like I said, I'm in a hurry, and this is a very realistic tutorial, kind of like, because after this I'm actually heading to church. So I use this time to get my lips done while my setting spray dries. So going with the brown lip liner to outline the perimeter of my lips, following my natural lip shape, and then using the same pencil I used in drawing my brows, which is just one shade lighter than the initial brown pencil I used, to follow up with that same ombre effect. With my lip combos, I like to layer the shades from dark brown to light brown and have my pinks and my nude colors at the center of my lips. I made use of this matte nude lipstick from Ushers, and then started working my way up to the final look that I wanted, little by little. Given that this lipstick can be very overwhelming, and then check it out and see if it's enough for me before I go and apply some more, and I did it still, I got my desired look. To further blend my lip liners, I make use of this very small tiny brush to ensure that the brown blends into the nude perfectly before I then go in with my clear lip gloss. I like using a flat clean brush for this clear lips application, because this way I don't mess up the base lip that I have going on, because I've seen that if sometimes even when your lip gloss is not in this structure, it's in a tube form, if you then dip it and then put it on what you have on your lips already and then put it back, you end up destroying the initial color of your lip gloss. So I like using the brush. So I do this not to tamper and mess with what I've already done, and then use the brush to then apply the clear lip gloss all around my lips. So at this point, the setting spray has dried, and now it's time to set our creams with powder. I've been using this powder palette a lot at this point, and because it comes with different shades, it's the perfect for me. It's very realistic and it's very beginner friendly as well. I didn't even see my eye pencil stuck behind the palette at that point, but it's fine. But before we go ahead to set our under eyes, you want to blend it again should in case any creasing has been created, because if you don't blend it and then you have creases and then you apply your powder onto those creases, you end up setting those creases there for life, even for life, but like for the entire time you're gonna have that makeup on for that day, and we definitely do not want that to be happening. So you want to go with your brush or your sponge that you used to blend initially and get rid of those creases that may be formed before you use your setting powder to set them up. So I'm going to be using my powder puff to pick up the shade from the powder palette that is 2 shades lighter than my actual complexion to set my under eyes. Then I go back to my loose oil control setting powder from Newborn Beauty to slightly bake my face. One good thing about this powder is that it also acts as an all-round powder, meaning that you can use it all over your face and not just areas where you apply your concealer. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing today. So I switched up from the brush simply because I didn't want to stain my t-shirts with powder, and then I use the puff, which would be easier for me to control. But both of them works perfectly well, so you can either use the brush or the powder puff, whichever one works for you at that very moment. So I first set the areas where I apply my concealer and then go onto my smile line, because I had that line that then after a while shows that something is going on there, like a very small tiny mark. So I like to set that place with powder so that you don't have those creases there later on before applying setting powder all over my face. Then I go in with the darker shades from that palette to serve as my powder contour to set my cream contour in place by applying it in the areas where I apply my cream contour and not forgetting my nose contour as well. To set our cream blush in place, I'm making use of this V Beauty's Girls Night Out blush palette using the same shades that match the shade of my cream blush, paired my Real Techniques blush brush and placing it in the same areas. At this point here, I realized that I have a lot of Real Techniques brushes and it's actually very cool. Then I go ahead to use my brush to dust off the excess setting powder now that we are done baking, and then going in with my mineral finishing powder from Newborn Beauty in the shade Lagos to go all over my face to seal the entire look together. You'd want to use a very big fluffy brush for this, and I like to mention that I actually go with a very generous amount of powder on my face, because girl, you cannot be saying you want a long lasting matte look and then you are scared of powders. Like, how does that even work? If you're an oily skin girl, if you have a combination to oily skin, you should be besties with your powder, because the more powder you apply most times it actually helps to make your makeup long lasting. So going in with the Omarico Skin Matte Setting Spray to lock everything together, and I learned the hard way that the best time to apply your pressed highlighters is after you apply your setting spray. So this is from Morphe. I've had it for years now, and until I hit the pan I'll keep using it till the kingdom comes. I'm making use of a dense angled brush for this. A small fluffy brush can also work for this, but I like this dense small one because of the structure. It helps me to have enough highlight on the brush, and since it has a small surface area, it helps me to easily control how much I need and where I place it. So I'm applying this directly on my cheekbones, not above my cheekbones, directly on my cheekbone. That is higher than where I apply my contour and lower than where I applied my blush, if that makes sense. And then drag it towards my temples, and also not forgetting the center of my nose for that 2016 makeup look that we all like, and then having a little bit at the inner corner of my eye to make my eyes pop up a little bit more. So using the Newborn Beauty finishing spray to lock this whole thing down before we go in our lash. And I like to appreciate that this actual spray has a very good nozzle, because for someone that actually uses a lot of sprays for makeup looks, this one is so far my best nozzle. It applies the setting spray generously. Like, it's not just focused on one part of my face, it applies it generously. For my lash glue, I use the classic makeup lash glue, and for today's look I'm going to be using a fluffy lashes that I bought randomly from a makeup store locally. So I advise that I use a clear glue over a black colored glue, so that should, in case it has not dried properly, it does not show, does not stain, does not get anything messy. So you need the glue to get tacky, that is semi-dry eyelashes. So while I was waiting, I decided to bring back my beauty marks on my face. This is something I haven't done before. Yeah, but I see it online and it does look cute for people that have beauty marks. I'm like, oh my god, I have beauty marks, so let me actually bring them back and not let them be washed off with the whole foundation and makeup. So I used a very tiny brush and then dipped it into my liner. I didn't know what I was doing, so don't take this advice, okay? Maybe I think people use liquid eyeliners, but I didn't have one, so I used my own gel liner for this actual step. But the brush wasn't as tiny as I would love for it to be, so it was not giving me that actual dot feeling that I actually wanted. But I did make it work, I guess. And then I set it down with my setting powder so that it does not smudge along the way. So now that my lashes are ready, I use my tweezers to apply them, and girl, did I struggle, but we did it. We actually did it. To ensure that the makeup is transfer proof, because one thing about going to church, you are gonna hug people, and I for sure, I have never liked the idea of hugging people hugging me, and then either I stain them or they stain me. So to not have that problem, I like to go in with the soap sealing locking mist so that my makeup does not transfer. And this is the final look, guys. Here's my transfer proof long lasting makeup routine for Sunday worship at church. Very easy, very lightweight, very all of that. Stay tuned to the end to see how our makeup looks like after 12 hours plus of being up and about on a Sunday. I just got back. It's literally, use my phone. It's literally 9:23, and we've had this makeup since 5 o'clock. That's so this is what we are. Let me just get my hair out of the way so that I can see everything as we have it. And okay, for some reasons I think I'm liking this lighting setup. Something just looks a bit different. I can't really place my head around it, but this is what we're having right now. I have some patches here because I went on a lunch date and I had chicken. And the main thing about Africans having drumstick, we hold it by the jugular. Like, we don't do fork and knife, we do okay, so that's what happened. But even at that, oh my god, I still have chicken on my lip. Can you see it? But even at that, my lip liner is still there. It's still there. I mean, just a little bit of lip gloss and we can still make this work. As for the rest of the face, my eyeshadow is still very much popping. My lashes did not come out any point. My brows is still in place. It's still in place. And I like that I still have my highlighter still popping. Like, are you seeing this glow? I like that. Even the one on the side of my nose is still there all my days. Why am I even shocked at this point? Are you shocked? Because I'm not shocked. But this is what we have right now. And I like that. I mean, places that are like a bit shiny. A little bit of powder and will eliminate all this shine. But honestly, I don't mind the shine because it makes it look like a dewy makeup look, if you get what I'm trying to say. So guys, this is the look that we have it. I can't wait to get all of this off my face and my body, can't lie, because it has been one long day, like literally one very long day, and it's been kind of hot, okay, because yeah, the weather is not weathering. So the fact that we could maintain this even with the different lighting setup, the different walkabout, the different heat, temperature, everything, and we are still, it's honestly, if I was to be going for an evening stuff, this makeup can still serve. Just little powder, blush here and there, and we'll be out the door, and nobody know we had this guy since 5 a.m. Okay, so this is the video that you should watch and share with your friends, your family, your neighbor, your sister, your aunts, your uncle's wife, yeah, that wants to know how to have a long-lasting makeup. If anybody that has that makeup after like 2 hours dripping and messy, share this video with them because you're going to do them a lot of favor. Thank you for watching this video up until now. Thank you for liking and subscribing if you're new. My name is Goodness, Freddy said earlier on, and here on this channel I make you feel pretty on the inside as well as on the outside, like what you're seeing right now. So if you want to see much more makeup videos like this, do click on this video right here and you see more makeup content like the one just finished watching right now. So till next time, I love you so much. Bye.